Now, normally advice involves a nice man coming and sitting in your front room and having a cup of tea and eating your biscuits. But these guys are doing it without that. And we call them sometimes Robo advisors, which is I've much as you have, I know I've visited a number of these companies, and I'm sad to report there are no robots anywhere.
I was looking. Sean Paul, I thought would be a robot. I thought Sean Paul would be a robot. I was really disappointed.
Yeah, and it sucks, or Sonny for my robot or something. I was really hoping for something like that. What I got was a bunch of kind of finance geeks. But what they've done is built algorithms which say, this is, of all the possible outcomes, we think this is the one that would kind of suit someone in your situation the best. Going through that kind of channel certainly takes away decisions from you. You don't have to do so much, which is cool. What's probably less cool is that you have to trust everything about that shop. You've handed all agency basically over to them. You've absented yourself from the decision other than to click yes to go ahead. So their algorithm has to be right. Their investment strategy has to be right. The funds that they've picked have to be the right funds. They have to not only get it right at the start, they have to keep getting it right over time for you. And if you trust that, great, that's cool. If not, then you need to bring yourself back into the discussion a little bit more. So there's something for everybody out there. Sadly, they don't give you free money or any of that stuff. So if you don't have any money, then, first of all, I would be amazed if you've made it this long. This video. Second of all, they're not places that will deal with your debt or anything like that. These are investment shops.
So the Robo bit, all they do is they just match your questionnaire, which takes maybe 5 minutes to fill in online, to one of their stock risk portfolios. Usually they have a grade of risk from low to high. Then you're done. So pretty much after that, the fund is run by humans. So you've got 10 people in a room with Bloomberg terminals. But really, it's just fund management, but wrapped in new clothes. Do you think that's a fair description?
Yeah. Mainly, I think a lot of them would say that they have developed trading algorithms which take the human kind of bias out of some of the management of the money as well.
And Scalable Capital in particular, I know it's very quant-based, so they have algorithms which pretty much run the show. There's no human judgment involved.
That's right. But there are a couple of flaws for that. The first thing is that a human developed those algorithms.
Yeah.
So there's no way of getting humans out of it completely, and that's probably a good thing on balance. Second thing is all of them have some checkpoint at which a human can get involved. So if there's if they spot a problem or whatever else, so humans can be involved. But the decision about how to run your portfolio, these are all portfolios rather than funds in the main, which is to say they're kind of bags full of funds, that it's not just one thing. They're getting run within certain parameters, certain kind of constraints. And once you know what those constraints are and you know what the effect of a decision you make to buy something or sell something is, then you can computerize it. And really what all these risk graded solutions are doing is they're using, you mentioned volatility earlier, they're using bands of volatility. So from A to B, this fund or a portfolio shouldn't go outside A to B.
Yeah.
Therefore, I can't just choose to run off over there and do wacky stuff because it would spike volatility beyond all get out, and that would break the kind of contract between you and me. So therefore, I'm constrained what I can do, and it kind of bumps along like that. If you go for a very high risk one, they can do lots more. And so their volatility band will be higher. So that company, Scalable Capital, that you mentioned, they use 5% bands. They've got 20 different portfolios. More than 20 actually, and so you get quite a surgical kind of experience. It's quite complex actually. Scalable's one of the more complex ones. But some Nutmeg, they offer a few portfolios, not loads and loads. You do your risk questionnaire. It says, all right, you are a total coward, therefore you're going in this one, and you say, yeah, that sounds like me, or haha, no, I'm not a coward. I wish to be exposed to massive volatility, please. And then you'll see how that works over time. The great thing about those systems, right, it sort of isn't the fund management, and it is not even the risk questionnaire or the fact it's quick to do. It's that it allows you to see very, very simply what you've got on an ongoing basis. And most of them allow you to set a goal as well. So if your goal is to, I don't know, I've got young kids, right? So to pay for university fees for my kids. So I'm 15 years away or whatever from the Lang kittens going to university. Sadly, it's a bit less than that now, actually. I should really start investing something. And so if I know that I need a billion gazillion pounds to send the little ones to uni, then I can set that as a target. I can put in £1,000, let's say, to start, save £100 a month, and I'll see how I'm tracking against my goal and whether I'm on track to reach it. And weirdly, all the propositions that you might use on investment platforms, if you've got a lot more wealth, the more kind of do it myself or do it with me stuff, they don't do that. So when you've got real money and you might have, a target to try and retire at the age of 55, let's say, good luck, because you're getting money, put your sick or whatever, you're on your own, man. Bad luck. But you start out with one of these guys, they've got this stuff that works really well for it. The downside, we're spending a lot of time on Robos, but the downside of it is pretty expensive at the moment. It's going to cost you, for most of them, about 1% a year for the service, which will include one or just over, will include the investment as well. But you'd think it'd be like super, super cheap because it's online. It's not, but it's still very small. It's very young. Hopefully, as it grows over time, those costs will come down.
And in comparison, for something like a Vanguard Direct account, which is completely do-it-yourself.
Yep.
So you pay something like 0.15%.
Yeah, that's it. So
1% for a Robo.
Yeah, that's it. So something like Nutmeg will cost you about 1%, just under, and you get there all the computery stuff, and you get your investment included in that, right? Your Vanguard platform, which it's a very basic service. It just allows you to go on and buy Vanguard stuff. So, there's no you can't play Angry Birds on it or anything like that. It just does what it does. 0.15% for being there, and that's capped at 275 quid a year. So if you're wealthy and you've got a ton of money on there, then that 0.15% actually starts coming down because of the cap. But for most people, it's 0.15. And then if you bought a kind of something that was a bit like the investment you might get from one of the Robos, and in Vanguard, they have these funds called Life Strategy, which are big mixed bags again, and they're risk banded as well. So Vanguard Life Strategy 60 is very, very popular, 60% in shares, 40% in things that are not shares, takes ridiculous amounts of money into it. That's about 0.32%, including as much of the hidden cost as you can reasonably find out. So 0.32 plus 0.15 is 0.47, about half the price. But of course, you don't have anyone telling you what to do. And you don't get the cool stuff with the tracking and all that kind of thing. So that's the thing. There's something for everybody. If you're happy to make a decision, you can cut the costs. If you want someone to do it for you, they need to be paid. Even if they're developing computers to do it, they need to be paid. And a lot of those guys, they've got to buy record bags, full sleeve tattoos, skinny jeans, all that kind of thing. So, being a hipster in this day and age isn't easy. So these guys need money.